believe it. They're looking and they're gaining their confidence because they think the Republicans are aligned. You and I both know the Republicans are still quite divided, whether deficit hawks or deficit spenders or defense spenders. And if you add in some of the language that we're hearing from the former speaker, now Minority Leader Nancy Pelosi, she's starting to talk about, we're not just going to give you a clean bill of health to raise that tax. I think that has predictive value. I'm worried about that.
All right, Peter Kern, thank you very, very much. Former Goldman Sachs partner, best-selling author. When we come back, the read right now from the Prime Minister of Britain trying to go after social media in Britain.
Hey, Katie, let me show you how behind schedule we are.
Yeah, are those the pyrotechnics that are gonna startle me from a distance?
Yep.
And my impractical wardrobe changes, those all set?
Not even close. Oh, this is probably going to shine in your eyes at the worst possible time.
Perfect.
We're looking at a real train wreck here, am I right?
Wouldn't it be great if everyone said what they meant? The Citi Double Cash Card does. It lets you earn double cash back with 1% when you buy and 1% as you pay. The Citi Double Cash Card. Double means double.
I wanted to know where my family came from. I did my ancestry DNA. The most shocking result was that I'm 26% Native American. I had no idea. It's opened up a whole new world for me.
Trying to do too many things at the same time just doesn't work very well. That's why Trivago focuses on comparing hotels and works very hard at finding your ideal hotel for the best price. Hotel Trivago.
Tonight, London Terror Fallout. First, Tucker gets expert analysis at 8. At 9, The 5 has must-see insight, followed by a powerful Hannity at 10.
When choosing a roofing contractor, reputation and craftsmanship is paramount. Craftsman Home Improvements, installing roofs the right way for over 20 years. We guarantee our work. Call us for fantastic choices and styles. Installed with care by Craftsman Home Improvements.
It's Health Foods Unlimited's 40th anniversary sale. Save 45% on the entire line of Alba Botanicals and Avalon Organics. Paraben-free face, body, hair, and sun care products. Deep-rooted beauty. Whatever your nutrition goal, there is a Vega product made just for you. Save 30% on the entire line of Vega Sport. Vega One Nutrition Shake, ready to drink or powder.
Health Foods Unlimited, the natural way of caring for you.
Grismer Tire right now for a great deal on Firestone. Now through July 9th, buy 4 eligible Firestone tires and get a $60 Firestone Visa prepaid card by mail. Plus, you can increase your reward to $100 when you use your CFNA credit card account. As always, when you buy a set of any 4 tires at Grismer, you get a year of free oil changes for your vehicle. Plus, lifetime balancing and rotation. That's a lot of savings and 4 free oil changes. Visit your locally owned Grismer Tire and save big.
Installing today's insulated and decorative siding on your home will enhance and improve it better than ever. Craftsman Home Improvements installs the best siding products, making your home beautiful, energy efficient, and one of a kind. Don't wait. Give us a call. Craftsman Home Improvements.
Britain's Prime Minister Theresa May wants to rein in social media companies, she says, are providing a haven for bad guys. Trace Gallagher with the very latest on that. Hey, Trace.
Hey, Neil, the British PM has been highly critical of internet companies, accusing them of inadvertently providing support for terrorists, and May is now calling on social media platforms to deny extremist sympathizers the digital tools used to communicate and plan attacks. And she is getting big-time pushback from Facebook. The world's largest social network says it uses the latest technology to screen for anything that promotes terror, saying, quote, "We do not allow groups or people that engage in terrorist activity or posts that express support for terrorism. We want Facebook to be a hostile environment for terrorists." Google says it, too, is committed to ensuring terrorists do not have a voice online, saying, quote, "We are already working with industry colleagues on an international forum to accelerate and strengthen our existing work in this arena." And Twitter says, quote, "We will never stop working to stay one step ahead and will continue to engage with our partners across industry, government, civil society, and academia." Some experts believe pushing extremist networks off public sites and into the darker corners of the web would make it even harder to observe them. We should note today, Facebook, Google, and Twitter stocks remain largely unchanged. Neil.
Trace Gallagher in Los Angeles. Thank you, Trace, very, very much. All right. In the meantime, do you ever notice right now that when it comes to the environment or even something as silly as a particular movie, a lot of us kind of get worked up? Not here. I'm talking out there in mainstream media land. Actually, left-stream media land, which is, I guess, mainstream media land. It's a wonder any woman or man would put up with it.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need cash? You need to know about the New Day 100 Home Loan for Veterans. The New Day 100 VA loan lets you refinance your mortgages, consolidate your credit card debt, put cash in the bank.
Lowers my A1C, better than the leading branded injectable, the one I used to take.
Victoza lowers blood sugar in 3 ways.
While it isn't for weight loss, Victoza may help you lose some weight. Non-insulin Victoza comes in a pen. It's taken once a day.
Victoza is not recommended as the first medication to treat diabetes and is not for people with type 1 diabetes or diabetic ketoacidosis. Do not take Victoza if you have a personal or family history of medullary thyroid cancer, multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if you are allergic to Victoza or any of its ingredients. Stop taking Victoza and call your doctor right away if you get a lump or swelling in your neck, or if you develop any allergic symptoms including itching, rash, or difficulty breathing. Serious side effects may happen, including pancreatitis. So stop taking Victoza and call your doctor right away if you have severe pain in your stomach area. Tell your doctor your medical history. Taking Victoza with a sulfonylurea or insulin may cause low blood sugar. The most common side effects are headache, nausea, diarrhea, and vomiting. Side effects can lead to dehydration, which may cause kidney problems.
Now's the time for a better moment of proof. Ask your doctor about Victoza.
BP develops new, industry-leading software to monitor drilling operations in real time, so our engineers can solve problems with the most precise data at their fingertips. Because safety is never being satisfied and always working to be better.
We needed to hire someone, but it was really tough finding people that had the right experience.
I was spending half my day just reading resumes.
To hire great people, go to ZipRecruiter.com and post to over 100 of the web's leading job boards with one click. Then easily select the best candidates from one list.
I'm seeing a lot more candidates with the right experience.
We have gotten consistently better results from ZipRecruiter than anywhere else.
Over 1 million businesses have already used ZipRecruiter. Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/Fox.
Stressful days can lead to sleepless nights, making you feel helpless. Take control of your sleep with Unisom Sleep Tabs. You fall asleep 33% faster and wake up recharged. With all the benefits of a good night's rest, take control of your sleep with Unisom.
All right, I said I think it's high time we all take a chill pill on this climate change thing. I suspected there is something else going on. Just because President Trump opts out doesn't mean the media should freak out. He tweets at Team Cavuto. Neil Cavuto, I'm a new fan of yours. I love the way you've been working your commentary. And then there's Against Brainwash. Love Neil Cavuto. He is actually the best, most factual of all. Oh, get out. Cabby emails, Cavuto's right, and he summed it up perfectly. Europe's furious because the guy usually picks up the check, just left the table. Mike at AOL, calm down, Cavuto. You're like an angry old man who hasn't taken his pills. We're the problem, not Europe. Well, you're right on the pill thing, but not the other stuff. Anyway, Joey tweets, I don't trust Cavuto. I think he's more anti-Trump than pro in his own smug way, i.e. phony. What do you mean? Then it's a wonder why some on the left can't appreciate a segment called Gen Hex for what it is. A funny romp through some of the popular stories of the day, including last Friday, me and my young guests musing about a less overtly American Wonder Woman. Jim and Team Cavuto. Do your homework, Cavuto. You might want to check Wonder Woman's birth certificate, just like you did President Obama's. Well, first off, Jim, I never bought the birth certificate thing and never discussed it on this show. And second, I never got into the Wonder Woman birth certificate, the whole thing there, because, well, she's fictitious and it's a comic. Billy Jack at Fox News says, no matter, I'm the one who should be taking a chill pill. Cavuto, take one rectally, or 2 or 3. They clear the cobwebs in your caverns and the head. And then there's Rogue Tiger 77 who tweets, Neil Cavuto and his band of imbeciles need a hobby. Now he's all upset because Wonder Woman isn't American enough. Pete, why isn't Neil Cavuto wearing a red, white, and blue swimsuit? I don't think he's American enough. Well, you haven't seen what I wear underneath, have you? Anyway, Jim tweets, what a panty waste you are, Cavuto, railing about the colors of Wonder Woman's outfit, making a hate America statement. Go get a real job. You get a real job. Jorge, Cavuto had a good excuse to resign after his health scare. His constant diarrhea of the mouth is inexcusable. Then there's Ted in Queens. Hey, numbnuts. Wonder Woman is a comic book character. Sadly, you're for real. You know, I have feelings. Anyway, angry over a new Wonder Woman? Well, if so, me and my Gen Hex panelists sure had a funny way of showing it.
The fact that they're changing that in order to make money, right? That's the celebration of free market economies. That's what America's all about. So even if it's not the principle and her wearing a flag, the principle is at work here.
Yeah, but they're selling out the brand as a movie, though, because they want to make that money overseas, and they even did it with G.I. Joe, a live action movie a couple years ago, where they took out America. You know, they made it like a generalized strike force.
And the Chinese market is huge for international film. You know,
just go see Baywatch, right?
You really are pushing it. Do any of us sound angry or mean to you? Anyway, first off, this is a light segment. It's a Friday segment. The whole Wonder Woman debate was but one of 4 topics we discussed. But we were hardly the only ones discussing it. On her 75th anniversary as a comic book character, the issue of Wonder Woman's history has been raised in a number of publications and TV programs, including the New York Post and Forbes, both of which still praise the movie, by the way. But here's what I noticed. This started with some left-wing site called Media Matters and was quickly picked up virtually verbatim, I might add, by everyone from Entertainment Weekly and Vanity Fair to Business Insider and even some foreign websites. That alone was interesting. By the way, where do they get their news? But I digress. Regardless, if you bought their version of what we said, perhaps I should share what we actually said. Here are the points that many on the left left out. Point 1. No one panned the movie. We just focused on the math behind the movie and the fact that 70% of revenues for big budget movies like these come from abroad these days. We know the rationale and cited the director of Captain America, no less, for similarly toning down the America-only patriotism to appeal to as broad an audience as possible. Point 2, we pointed out Wonder Woman's director was American and one of its stars an American pilot. We got that. We said that. We never tried to hide that. Point 3, not once did we compare this Wonder Woman to the Linda Carter version of the 1970s. Now, plenty of other publications and shows did, including The Post, which did accurately note how in that 1970s series, Wonder Woman's patriotic roots down to the red, white, and blue colors of her outfit. See the comparison here? Well, they brought it up. Point 4, we agree to disagree on whether it was a good movie or a good move, but having seen this movie for myself, I think it's a very good movie. But we all agreed that fellow panelist Mike Gunzelman was out of his freaking mind crazy to suggest we should watch Baywatch instead. Now, as I told Guns, you are pushing it. He laughed, we laughed. All good, all fun, not remotely this damning right-wing serious hate fest it's been made out to be, unless the folks judging never really watched in the first place. Pity, because they missed this clear takeaway on our Wonder Woman verdict. Still super, still a hero. Media matters or media doesn't matter, whatever they call themselves, still stupid, still a 0. And they say we take things out of context. Let's just say take them with a grain of superhero salt. I just find it so odd such sites would rather go after Fox discussing a fictional movie of a comic book character in good fun than say so much as a single word about other news channels hurling expletives at our president over a terror incident and another charging the president for deliberately inciting an act of terror to get his travel ban through and get away with it. It is a wonder any woman or man would stand for it. Not on our watch, America. I'm serious. Not. Good night.
Hey everybody, I'm Ebony K. Williams along with Eric Bowling and Kat Timp, and we are the Fox News Specialists. Anti-terror raids sweeping London today in the wake of Saturday's attack that killed 7 and injured dozens. UK authorities are now identifying 2 of the 3 terrorists in that attack that ISIS is claiming responsibility for. Fox News correspondent Mike Tobin joins us from London with more.
And Ebony, the first of those terrorists identified as Rashid Redouan. He is a bit of a mystery. They assume he's 30 years old, but he's 2015. Primarily, he got on the radar for talking a great deal about radical Islamist ideology. You mentioned anti-terror raids. They have been happening in flurry since the weekend. A couple of boroughs just outside of London. We know in one they picked up some 12 people, released one, so at least 11 are being held. Investigators do believe that they killed all the attackers, but believe there may be a wider network of people who assisted or sympathized with the attackers. Meantime, as London mourns, thousands have gathered in an area known as Potter's Field, very near the London Bridge, for a vigil. An angry London mayor, Sadiq Khan, himself a Muslim, said the attackers use a perverse ideology that is against the faith of Islam. And the commander of Scotland Yard is appealing to the public, particularly the Muslim community, for more information on what led up to the attacks. Back to you in New York.
Hey, Mike, tell me before we let you go, they named 2 of these attackers. They have identified all 3. What are they waiting to name the 3rd for?
It has to do with him being international. They're trying to pin down exactly where he's from, at least according to investigators, the particulars about him before they release that information, Eric.
Thank you so much, Mike. So with that, let's meet today's specialist. His career spans 15 years as a covert field operations officer for the CIA. He's also the co-founder of Diligence LLC, a global intelligence security firm. He's a Fox News Channel regular, and he specializes in global crisis and U.S. national security. Oh, look at that. Mike Baker is here today. He is a best-selling author, a former member of Israel's top counter-terror unit. He's also the founder of Cherries, a leading manufacturer of specialized law enforcement products for terrorism readiness. But he specializes in, get this, late 80s hair metal drumming. Just don't ask him to successfully grow out his hair. Aaron Cohen is here. I had to read that one a couple times, Aaron. I was like, heavy metal? No, hair metal. But going to Terry, because this is certainly serious. I want to start with you on this, Mike. I want to read a couple things that stood out to me.
Sure.
Number 1, 2 of these 3 attackers were already known to authorities, we're being told. One of them, it's being reported that a friend actually called one of these hotlines and reported him because he was obsessed with these hate-preaching YouTube videos or what have you. And also, police were warned that at least one of them was actively radicalizing children in local parks, giving them treats and candy and things like this. So the theme here, much like we saw in Manchester and in Orlando and in San Bernardino, at least some, if not all of these terrorists already on law enforcement's radar, yet something falling through the cracks. Help me out, Mike. How does this keep happening?
Yeah, well, and this is why the public, sometimes loses their mind. And the first top line story you always hear is it's an intel failure or a law enforcement failure.
Yeah.
The reality is that, yes, I mean, some of those things that you said, those things happened. The individuals had become on the radar screen. The candies and sweets thing, radicalizing children, that's a Ramadan thing. I'm going to hand out candy and money. But at the end of the day, law enforcement in the intel community, whether we're talking about the UK or we're talking about the US, can only operate within the parameters of the laws that are established.
That's what I want you to
That
go to.
is
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And
so are their hands tied? Is that your
well,
perception?
yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, their hands are tied if what you want them to do is be more aggressive. So when people say, look, the individual is on your radar screen, why weren't you following him 24/7 for the next several months? It's because you can't unless you've got sufficient evidence. And just because he was out at a park and he waved an ISIS flag, believe it or not, that's not sufficient
They
evidence.
documented him on a documentary. He was the jihadist next door, and he went on some terror watch list, and then he fell to the low end of the terror watch list. They let him go. Mike, I'm going to push back on you a little bit.
Sure.
A few years ago, I was on a show, and about 5 or 6 years ago, on the 5. And a guest comes on, it was a terror attack, and the guest talks about Muslim no-go zones in Europe. He got in a whole crapload of trouble for saying it, to suggest that there was no-go zones. And now we're finding out, in fact, there are radical Islamic Muslim no-go zones, or local cops in France and in Great Britain don't go into these neighborhoods, and they let them actually practice Sharia law. Part of this is PC culture gone amok in Europe.
Absolutely. No, I don't disagree with that at all. Absolutely. And the political
You're saying
correctness.
follow these law enforcement officers.
What I'm saying is the political correctness has created an environment where the laws exist, and you've got to play within those parameters. I mean, I guarantee you, if we were following somebody and the investigation didn't meet a sufficient protocol,
probable cause. He's
then
talking about
all of a sudden you got everybody opening up their yap and complaining about privacy issues and everything. And now, of course, after an event, yes, everybody's on board with security, and the pendulum swings over towards security. Everybody wants security, but that doesn't happen for very long before it moves back and people start complaining. But if you want it, then you got to change the laws and allow the investigators and allow intel and law enforcement to be more aggressive. That's a political issue.
Let me get Aaron in here because he also has a deep background in this stuff. I think a lot of people would feel in agreement with what Mike is saying right now. But of course, the other concern is this, protections and civil liberties and privacies, because ultimately, maybe we're talking about changing the probable cause standard. What's needed to move forward with an arrest when someone is suspected of this type of activity?
If I was leading this operation, I would want it to rain warrants, terrorist warrants, so I can kick down every door of every possible terrorist, friend of a terrorist, family member of a terrorist in Israel. You cohorted with a terrorist, or you had any knowledge of the terrorist attack, we're going to destroy your house. The reason why is because you don't deserve to even live here. You had any knowledge of a potential terror attack.
So it's a different standard in Israel.
Well, it's about tone. What we're missing here, and he said the key word. And, me and the CIA guy here, we are trying to download each other's cell phones the whole time.
Now we're working on Eric's.
Yeah, now we're working on Eric's. But here's the thing. He nailed it. It's about the law. But here's the thing. The law is a living, breathing thing. And I'm not a lawyer, but I will say this. Tone. It's no different in any other business. What is the tone that you want to set for the operation?
You want the tone? You want the tone, Aaron? Here's the tone. After the Manchester bombing, after the Ariana Grande concert, the mayor, Andy Burnham, came out and said, business as usual here, folks. What happens? A couple of days later, the London mayor gets there's a terror attack. Hang on. They mow down some people on the street. Exactly what ISIS plans and tells people to do, their fighters to go ahead and do. And what does the London mayor, Sadiq Khan, say? Remain calm, everybody.
He did. He said
There's
remain
the tone
calm.
that you don't want to be importing to this country.
Real quick, Aaron, full context though, Eric. He said remain calm because don't overreact to the increased police
He was talking
presence.
specifically about the police presence.
Yes.
That's what he said. Londoners will see an increased police presence today. Over the course of these days, no reason to be alarmed.
I'm coming right to you, Kat, but first, this is actually a perfect setup, Eric, about this tone issue, because Prime Minister Theresa May perhaps changing tone, coming around stating what we all know about the Islamic terror threat.
While we have made significant progress in recent years, there is, to be frank, far too much tolerance of extremism in our country. So we need to become far more robust in identifying it and stamping it out across the public sector and across society. That will require some difficult and often embarrassing conversations.
Kat, about people that feel like it's too little, too late, or to just talk, where are you on that? And do you think this is at least even a step in the right direction?
I think that it certainly is. When you talk about somebody who we've been discussing, is on video with an ISIS flag, who's saying, I would murder my mother for ISIS, who's made it very clear that this is a radical person, how much more obvious or probable cause did you need to look deeper into a dude like that? I'm all about tolerance, but when somebody wants to murder me, I'm kind of not tolerant anymore. And he wasn't hiding. He wasn't like, oh, he kind of has watched some sort of questionable movie.
I'll just say everybody is a counterterrorism specialist after an attack.
And you are.
All right?
And you're a counterterrorist specialist.
Yeah.
What does she mean by saying that we need to be more robust in IDing them and stamping them out?
We know who they are.
Mike, come on.
Right. Okay. What?
This guy was almost taunting the fact that he was radical.
How do you not step up and say, no, we're going to knock down doors in these no-go zones, right? And we're going to pull people out, and we're going to look into the mosques.
And that's exactly right. We should be doing this. We should be aggressive. We should. But what I'm saying is, now she said that. Now, you know what they got to do? They got to bang that issue out in Parliament. They got to come up and say, we're going to have to revise some laws so that we can adjust the surveillance protocols so that we can get on there and monitor and do the things that we need to be doing so that we can open investigations and maintain them.
This whole thing is intel. Yeah. The Americans and the Brits are experts at investigating crime. Terrorism happens before. You don't have time to investigate. Everybody's dead. The responders show up. Everybody praising the responders. I love praising the responders. I'm trained law enforcement and SWAT for 20 years. They're going to get there in 8 minutes. They did a great job. Yeah. Problem is that profiling afterwards, fingerprinting, investigating, I don't even care if these guys were connected to a larger terror network, and let me tell you why. The profile of a would-be with no connection to ISIS with a knife on a bridge or in a car is going to do the same amount of damage as some.
What you're saying about adjusting and looking at the laws. I will say also, I've been in these same conversations for what seems like a lifetime now. Yeah. I've been doing this a long time.
So why does it never go anywhere?
Because we have liberal mayors, we have liberal leaders who say,
Eric, really?
no, Ebony, come on, you
I wanted to ask Mike, because he actually was in the room.
Would you be in favor of listening to the mosques in New York City?
Not indiscriminately, but if you can connect dots to me, if you can connect dots to me.
Listen,
but not indiscriminately, unless we're going to do that for churches as well.
In Israel, Arabs blow themselves up.
Absolutely.
That's a fact. Sure. They're Muslims. Now, we also have 1 million Muslims who live in Israel who are Israeli citizens who don't want to be blown up, don't want to blow themselves up, are good people.
That's exactly
They serve in our military. Bedouins serve in our military. Druze do. And we have to listen. The reason why we have to listen is because you don't, or if you don't, ultimately in the end, you're going to fail. You have to follow that profile.
Yeah. I am not saying not to listen, right? I am simply saying, and this is an important clarification, guys and ladies. Criminal profiling, absolutely.
Well, because
explain that versus racial or religious profiling.
Your criminal profile only will occur after the fact the crime has been committed.
I'm saying, Eric, you're not listening to me. I am simply saying criminally profile on the front end. I'm not saying not to do that. I am distinguishing criminal profiles from religious profiles.
Please, I'm just trying to learn. Okay. Explain what you mean in a terror scenario. How do you on the front end of a terrorist act? How do you criminally profile a terrorist?
You look for things in their totality. So yes, religion, yes, race, but also their behavior, who they know. Like you said, their friends, who are their friends? Who are they talking to?
And then
who are they communicating with? And then you listen in, and then you bust them open.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what we do.
The key is you can make this happen. It's not a super heavy lift. You can make this happen. But I guarantee you the problem is we've got ADD, short-term memory here, and it doesn't take very long after an attack before we all go back to our lives.
Well, God, I hope we don't do that. President Trump going on all kinds of defense as his travel ban in the wake of the London attack. But will he win over the Supreme Court? It's going to get hot. Stay with us.
This program is brought to you by Cosequin, available at veterinarians and fine pet retailers.
Why does Duke take Cosequin? So he can get up and down the stairs. Keep him moving with Cosequin Joint Health Supplements.
I really like this hotel room, and I'd like to book it. With Trivago, I can book it here, or here. And it's also good to know that if I book it here, I pay the lowest price for this hotel room. Hotel Trivago.
I'm pretty handy around the house, but now that I have kids, I don't want to spend a Saturday installing a toilet or fixing an air conditioner. Thankfully, there's Home Advisor. A Home Advisor helps me find the best home pros in my area to handle any kind of project. They have verified reviews of the pros, and they do background checks, so you know you can trust them with your home. You can compare prices,